okay. It's not quite as great as the last episode, but I still really like it, so I'm still gonna talk about it. But trying to top something as gruesome and crazy as this season's opener was always going to be a challenge. And this one obviously didn't do it, but that doesn't mean it's a bad episode by any means. I still think it's a really good episode that is worth watching. Great, even. Just not as great. And there's a couple reasons for why, and I'll explain it. But I will say right up front, just from these first 4 episodes, the pacing of this season is a lot better than the pacing in season 1. I don't know, maybe it's because this is such a short season, but I couldn't help but notice it as I was watching, because I was like, this is a lot faster than the previous season, which had too much exposition dumping. This one, there is still exposition being dumped, but it's done in a way where it's a lot less agonizing. I'll do my best to explain. So, without further ado or delay, let's dive in. What's up? What's happening? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Mr. Station, which is for anything and everything animation, including humanity's last struggle against the Titans, as well as TV and movies and anime. I am your host and local anime fan, Jackson Small. Welcome to my review of Attack on Titan Season 2, Episode 2, I'm Home. I already explained a bunch of other stuff in the previous review, so I'm not going to do it here. We're just going to jump right in. So, overview. The Scout Regiment sets out for Nick, however you pronounce that. I'm going to call it Ermic, to assist in the crisis, bringing Pastor Nick with them to try to convince him to talk. On the way, Armin theorizes about the Wall Titans. Earlier, whilst riding to alert civilians, Sasha remembers her past with her father after the fall of Wall Maria. At a village, Sasha saves a girl from a small Titan. She tells the child to run and blinds the pursuing Titan to escape. She later reunites with her father, who had saved the child. Meanwhile, Connie arrives in his village to see it in ruins. He rides to his house, but sees an immobile Titan laying on top of it. And unlike the other Titans, this one is like bare skin and too weak to even move. So, yeah, needless to say, there's a lot of intrigue, so let's just dive right in. In Tross District, a soldier of the garrison arrives to warn Commander Pixis and Captain Hans of Walrose's breach. That night in Stillhead's district, the Scout Regiment prepares to venture southwestward to assist in dealing with the Titan invasion. Hence why the other one, Episode 3, is called Southwestward. Spoiler alert. Armin joins Eren and Mikasa at their carriage, wondering if Titans would be able to breach the walls with the Titans in them. Eren reminds Armin of the fall of Shiganshina, but Armin points out that a gate and not the wall itself was breached. Recalling the strange structure of the walls and Annie Leonhardt's Titan hardening ability, he wonders if the walls were made with a similar hardening power. It's definitely something to think about. It's pretty interesting. Indoors, Section Commander Hanji, yes, we get more Hanji, studies something through a microscope while Moblet, however you pronounce that, reminds them of their imminent departure. Hanji continues to study the object, pausing in a moment of deep contemplation until Captain Levi calls for them to join the rest of the scouts. Hanji obliges, grabbing a small crystal from the table, which we later find out is hardened Titan skin. Shortly after, Hanji, Levi, and Pastor Nick join Eren's carriage with Eren, Mikasa, and Armin outside the Stillhead district's inner gates. Armin wonders why a priest from the Order of the Walls is being brought with the scouts, but Hanji insists the makeup of their group is strange enough as it is. Well, in her case, fair point. This is a pretty strange group. The Stillhead's inner gate is open, and Commander Erwin briefs the scouts on their mission to head to Ermic district, before joining the rest of the Scout Regiment in Walrose's territory. As they depart, Armin muses on the fact that the Titans have been defending humanity from the Titans all along. Hence the Wall Titans, and why not every Titan is evil. And Hanji informs him that they plan to bring Nick to Ermic, where he can see the full consequence of the Titan invasion. because up to this point, he's only just been in his church. Aaron grows angry at Nick's insistence to remain silent, and Levi proposes using threat of violence to get Nick to talk. Classic Levi. Hanji insists that Nick will not be moved by violence and wonders if his knowledge is more important to him than humanity's survival. And she knows this because she literally almost dropped him to his death one episode earlier. And that is all we get for Levi, Armin, Mikasa, Erwin, and all those for the rest of the episode. Like I said in the last review, they are building this part in the background where they put the main focus of these particular episodes on the side characters. And this one just so happens to focus on one of my favorites, Sasha. Yes, Potato Girl. So what happens with her? Well, let's read and find out. Earlier that day, Sasha leaves her commanding officer to bring news of the invasion to her village, which is in the woods. As she rides for her hometown, she recalls life with her father over 3 years ago. Much to his displeasure, she had been eating from their winter rations, and she was eating a potato. While Sasha ate her rations, her father asked her if she ever wondered why their life had been changing so much. She believed that the influx of new people from Wall Maria had been taking their game from the forest, but her father notes that the others had no choice after losing their homes to the Titans, which, fair point on his end. While Sasha blamed the refugees for their loss of livelihood, her father bitterly agreed that clearing forests and planting fields fed more people than hunting as their family had done for generations. He considered leaving their old way of life and taking up horse breeding. Random. Changing their ways to meet the needs of the many. But Sasha strongly opposed his idea. Sasha's father accepted her stubborn beliefs, but warned her of the dangers of the selfishness she expressed. Which is what leads her into becoming the character that she is. In Walrose, Sasha spots the footsteps of a Titan further into the land than she had expected. After running some distance, she comes across a new village that she did not recognize. Within one of the homes, a small Titan eats at the leg of a helpless woman as her daughter sits silently in shock. Are they sure that's a woman? Because the voice acting made it sound like a guy. I think it's supposed to be the father, and that's a typo. Oops. The girl turns towards her father as Sasha comes in with an axe, swinging desperately at the Titan's nape. Unfortunately, though, the axe is unable to damage the nape sufficiently enough to kill it, and eventually slips from Sasha's hand from the blood spilled from the Titan. Because it's not an ODM gear blade, which is actually made to slice those things. Landing out of her reach above the door, with no means of killing the Titan, Sasha then takes the girl and escapes to safety, apologizing to the dying father at the Titan's mercy. Sasha takes the girl to her horse and attempts to talk with her, but the horse becomes restless and runs off before either of them can mount it. Sasha calls desperately for her horse to come back and frantically attempts to comfort the child until the Titan emerges from the house. Taking a bow and a handful of arrows, Sasha grabs the girl and runs for the main road. As they run, the girl explains that her village was aware of her mother's bad legs, but did not come to save her when the Titan arrived. Escaping over the drawbridge, Sasha thinks back to her days in the 104th Cadet Corps. More flashbacks from the saga from last season. Some years ago, Sasha was approached by Krista Lenz and her freckled friend Ymir, who confronted Sasha about the abnormally polite way Sasha spoke to her fellow cadets. Ymir rightfully guessed that Sasha was ashamed of the dialect used by the people of her village and criticized her aimless way of living, showing how much she's changed. Krista attempted to stop Ymir's diatribe, however you pronounce that, and defended Sasha, saying that she can be whoever she wants to be. Ymir then continues to berate Sasha, telling her to speak as her true self without shame of what others think of her. Krista then scolds Ymir, insisting that there was nothing wrong with Sasha's way of living regardless of whether or not she lived as her own true self or not. Ymir still thought of Sasha as annoying, and Krista reminded Ymir that not all people are as intensive as her. Fleeing from the Titan, Sasha wonders why she is remembering trivial memories at such a time. She turns to the girl as they run, telling her to keep running until she finds help. Letting go of the child and drawing her bow, Sasha orders the child to keep running. The girl runs and Sasha fires an arrow at the Titan. She misses, leaving her with only 2 arrows. Her third shot is a direct hit into the Titan's eye, and Sasha prepares to fire her last shot, reminding herself that failure would mean putting the girl's life at risk. She throws her bow away, taking the arrow and charging at the Titan to stab it directly in the eye. The Titan attempts to grab her, but Sasha manages to shove herself out of its grip thanks to the blood that was soaking from its chest. She runs down the road in search of the girl, eventually coming across a group of civilians on horseback, spotting the girl as well as her father. Sasha joins her father and his group, and he explains that they have been delivering horses to the refugees to assist in the evacuation. He lets Sasha know that he heard of her fight against the Titan and is proud of who she has become. Sasha smiles as she finally feels at home. We're almost done. Sorry, this is a long summary. Elsewhere in Walrose, Connie rides ahead of his team as Raynor urges him to be cautious. Coming to his village, Connie frantically calls out for anyone nearby who could hear him, but only finds ruined houses and empty streets. He makes a desperate ride for his house, hoping that his parents and his siblings are safe. But upon arriving at his house, he finds a Titan laying atop the ruined structure on its back. Raynor arrives at Connie's side, pulling him away from the scene as Gelgar comes to investigate. Taking a closer look at the Titan, he notices that its limbs are much too small for any means of mobility, and you can literally see all the bones underneath the skin because it's so frail. The scouts nearby are left to wonder how this small-limbed Titan ended up atop Connie's house, and that's the end of the episode. Yeah, a lot happened. We got more stuff about the developing background plot with Eren, Mikasa, Armin, Levi, and Erwin, while we also got a little bit of Connie, who is going to get a little bit more in the next episode. Whereas this episode, it focuses on Sasha, gives her some great character development, gives her a backstory, and it also kind of explains why she has such a love for potatoes. I didn't know I needed that, but that was some nice levity against all the dread. That's one of the reasons why I love Sasha so much as a character, because she is so freaking funny, and she is really good at being comedic relief when it's needed in a show that's this bleak. So, with all that said, now let's get to my overall final thoughts of the episode so we can end this review, shall we? Another great episode as it gives more character development to one of my favorites, Sasha, as she saves a little girl from a smaller Titan by blinding it with arrows. And Connie returns home to find an immobile frail Titan collapsed on his home. Once again, the actual main protagonists are barely in it, and there's no gruesome deaths this time, giving it a bit of a disadvantage over episode 1 of season 2. But they're still doing a really good job fleshing out the side characters. And that's why this episode, despite not having a whole lot of death or action, is still an 8 out of 10. It's a great episode. Check it out. It may not be on the level of its premiere, but it's still pretty damn good. Alright, that's all I got. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more videos like this almost every single day. Feel free to leave your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below, as always. And, again, feel free to check out the first Attack on August when I covered Season 1 on my Anime Arena playlist. But for now, sayonara, and I'll see you next time for Season 2, Episode 3, Southwestward. Excited for what comes up ahead. Hey,